Right. I'm late to the party on this one because they were revealed 7 days ago at this point, so an entire week. But yes, there was actually Adamancipator support announced for Beyond the Brave, which, well, I didn't ask for, but I'm sure some people did. And I guess as long as Block Dragon is banned, maybe it's fine. I don't know. I've never really vibed with the playstyle of Adamancipator, but you know, it's something that some people. It's just like the combo nature and the gambling nature. I don't know. All right, let's see. I actually haven't read these yet because I was like, when I saw them for the first time, I was like, yeah, okay, let's save that for stream. And then I forgot about it. But yeah, okay. Adamancipator Conductor. We have Rock Tuner level 6. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If this card is in your hand, you can place one other Adamancipator card from your hand on the top of the deck. Special summon this card. Okay, well that guarantees you're gonna hit with the excavation thing of the Adamancipator cards, I guess, but it still is a 2-card combo at best. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can special summon one excavated level 4 or lower rock monster. Also place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. I mean, that's a fancy way of saying special summon 2 Adamancipators from your hand, right? At the very minimum. Because, like, you're gonna put one Adamancipator on top of your deck that you are guaranteed to hit. But then if you get, like, I guess you can see the other 4 cards as well, and if there's a better option, then you can pick that one, right? Like, for example, let's say you put an Adamancipator Researcher on top of the deck, but then in the top 5 cards of your deck you find a Koakumeru Guardian, and you're like, I think that's better, so I'm gonna do that one, right? So yeah. It puts the bricks that were the stones back. Did they even... dude, it's been so long and I didn't play super actively during the Adamancipator, like, COVID era. Did they even play the stones? I feel like sometimes, right? OG Haggy, thank you for the 20 months. Blue was sometimes one of... Is blue the one where, like, if you summon it with an Adamancipator, you draw a card? I like that. Okay, this card to me, it feels fine, right? It feels fine. It's a starter slash extender in 2-card combos for Adamancipator, which seems okay. It doesn't specify tuner or non-tuner on the excavate, so you have a much higher chance of hitting depending on how your deck is built. So yeah, okay. But it doesn't like scream completely broken at me, which is why I'm fine with it. It is a tuner itself. Oh, there's a new crystal. Adamancipator Crystal Tiamite. Level 4 Dark Rock, 0 attack, 2200 defense. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If this card is special summoned by an Adamancipator card effect, you can add an Adamancipator card from your deck to your hand. Ooh, okay. Except Crystal Tiamite, then you can special a rock from your hand. I mean, if you do hit it with any of your Adamancipators that can summon it, that goes pretty hard. If this card's in your grave, target a rock synchro on your field or grave, return it to the extra deck. If you do, place this card on top of the deck. Okay. Okay, this card seems fine. But nothing too crazy, in my opinion. Because it's not a starter. It's a good hit off the Adamancipators. I'm not sure if that's something you would want to play. I guess it combos well. Like, it's less bricky if this card is in the mix, right? Okay. Adamancipator Risen Tiamite. So that's the corresponding synchro. Level 10 Dark Rock, 1 tuner or non-tuners. You can use the first and second effect once per turn each. If you have a dark monster in your grave, add an Adamancipator spell trap from your deck to your hand. What do they have in terms of Adamancipator spell traps? It was like, they have Adamancipator Friends, which was sometimes played, I think. They have a counter trap. Oh, awesome. Nice. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of rock monsters excavated. Also place the excavated cards on the bottom of the deck in any order. That is a potentially really cool effect. Whether you're going first or second. Like, this is an interesting interruption, but it's also a very, very potent effect when you're going second. Like, when you get to make this card into a board, it's really scary for your opponent to do something because you might just non-target bounce like multiple cards on their board. Which is cool. This is the type, like, I said earlier, I'm not the biggest fan of Adamancipators, but I think cards like these are like are pretty cool. That's a interactive like endboard piece. Of course, there's some gamba involved. You know, it's not like there's a lot of variance in this effect. You know, sometimes there is a you're gonna hit like 1, or sometimes you're gonna hit 4, and it's gonna be very high variance, which is sometimes gonna feel bad. But overall, I think this is much cooler than just like this deck summoning Baron the Fleur, for example, right? And I wish they leaned into this direction more from the beginning for Adamancipators, because I think Adamancipator, like, as a concept, I'm not opposed to Adamancipator like being a little bit gambly. I think the biggest issue with Adamancipator was that it was always ending on the most broken generic cards. Like the Adamancipator end board had like 0 Adamancipator cards, right? It was just well, here's Korkimero Guardian, here's Appaloosa, here's Savage, here's Baron, whatever, right? So the fact that it was like so splashable, not splashable, but like so compatible with all of the generic endboard pieces, and the fact that all those generic endboard pieces existed alongside Block Dragon as well, made the deck a problem. The archetype itself is like fine, you know, it's just like goofy extenders that have a little gamba attached to it. It's fine. So if they lean more into a direction where Adamancipator on its own is playable, I'd be down with that. That's okay. Which I mean is different in the OCG, because I do think the OCG, they still have. Do they have Baron in the OCG? I think so. Yeah, they have Baron, of course. So in the OCG, it's still gonna make Baron, like, Baron is still a better card than this 99% of the time. So, you know, printing, like, you're only gonna make this if you already have Baron access. So in the OCG, I would look at these cards through a different lens. But for us in the TCG, where we don't have Baron, we don't have Block Dragon, but we don't have Savage, like, okay, yeah, giving Adamancipator their own boss monster that's worth ending on, that's cool. All right. Adamancipator Luminous, a Link monster. I think that's new. I don't think they had any so far. Link 2 Light Rock needs 2 effect monsters, including a Synchro monster. Okay. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card's Link summoned or a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can target 1 monster in your field or graveyard that has a level. Special summon a Glimmer token with the same level. That's just Link climbing, right? We just summon it as a Link 2 and get a token, so we now have Link rating 3. When another monster on the field activates its effect, quick effect, you can place it to the top of the deck. Ooh, that's a neat interaction though. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure exactly what the token effect is supposed to be here for. I guess it's so that you invest 2 bodies for a card that's clearly meant to be an endboard piece, but you don't lose those resources entirely for your combos because you do get a token back. So yeah, that's the thing. It is technically capable of Link climbing, right? It is technically capable of Link climbing with the token, but it does have this thing where you kind of do want to keep it around. I want to point out that this is not limited at all to Adamancipators, right? Like, this is something that you can play in any deck with synchros. And it's not bad. Like, in any deck with synchros, you have the option to Link climb into a Link 3 now with 2 bodies, if one of them is a synchro. And this is also a relatively decent generic effect, right? Like, you go second, yeah, Yummy, for example, right? You go second, you make a Yummy synchro, you special another Yummy, and then you make this into a board. You even get a level 1 body back, right? You target a Yummy in your grave, and then you get a level 1 token that you can then turn into Linkaribo, so you can keep special summoning the Yummies. And then you get this for relatively cheap. You get this effect, right? Okay. Interesting. OCG Yummy be summoning this using Arclight all day. Yeah. Adamancipator Mate. Normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Add an Adamancipator. Okay, well, there's a good target. Add an Adamancipator from deck to hand. If this card's in your grave, you can place one card from your hand on top of the deck. Add this card to your hand. Oh, and you can use both effects. Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, if you use it first to get it to the graveyard and then you add it back to your hand, it is going to be a dead card in your hand for the rest of the turn. It's going to be follow-up, though. You can also do it the other way around, though. You can, like, discard it for an effect, or you can send it for Foolish Burial Goods, and then put a card on top of your deck to guarantee that you hit it, and then later on use the Rhoda effect or something like that. I mean, it's definitely a good card. It's Rhoda with upside, 100%. Easily a good card. It sets up the Gamba. Yeah, it makes it so some of these effects, and I think that's cool, make it so that you can guarantee certain hits. You're not always just gambling with, like, putting a certain card on top of the deck with this, putting a certain card on top of the deck with this. I think that's neat. Overall, I gotta say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think these cards are cool. Even though, like I said earlier, in the past, I've not been a big Adamancipator fan. This new wave of support, I feel like maybe as long as people play Adamancipator, like as an Adamancipator deck, I'm fine with it. I think as long as it doesn't turn into like, oh, I'm gonna end on Appaloosa, Baron, Savage, IP Masquerena, Block Dragon, and Korkimir Guardian, which has 0 Adamancipator cards. I think that's pretty cringe. But I think if they end on Adamancipator Arisen Tiamat, Adamancipator Luminous, and then maybe like one like an IP Masquerena or something, like I'd be okay with that, you know. I think that's something they should try to do more. I think generic endboard pieces in general are something they need to be careful with. They also have Drag Guide. Yeah, they do have Drag Guide. So maybe it's enough, actually. Maybe it is enough. But like the thing is with rocks, there still is a lot of stuff you can do. This is still going to have very easy access to Korkimir Guardian, which is going to make it better into hand traps and also add endboard pieces like monster negates and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see. There still is a lot of combo potential with these cards. Nothing here has any lock. None of the older cards had locks either. So it still is potentially problematic. But the cards themselves, I have no issue with. Or actually, I think they're kind of cool, rather. I'm a little worried about the generic uses of Adamancipator Luminous, maybe. If there's just like decks that just spam some synchros and then use this to link climb or something like that. But, I mean, a Link 2 that summons 1 token is hardly problematic, I think. But it is useful for certain combos, potentially. Adamancipator Magnet Warriors for infinite rock bodies? Maybe, yeah, but that's... here's the thing. Like, from the TCG perspective, right? An Adamancipator Magnet Warrior deck doesn't seem more problematic than a lot of the other combo decks that we have, right? Because what does that deck end on? You have like some of the Magnet Warrior interruptions, you have some of the Adamancipator interruptions, and you have like maybe a Korkimir Guardian or two that you can hit with your effects. They can end on Nat Beast, but that's something that Magnet Warriors can already do themselves, and that's really more of a Naturia Beast problem. And I think, in general, like, what these decks end on, like, for being such an all-in combo deck, which this is definitely going to be, I think it's not even, like, that's less than what Elf Nodes end on, for example. Like, Elf Node Fiendsmith or whatever. Like, they end on more than that. And they also are more consistent at it, probably. So, and it's probably that deck probably also has better Fuwalos lines. So, yeah. I don't know. Even as a non-combo deck fan, I can't really bring myself to hate these cards in particular. I think the Adamancipator cards themselves were always the least problematic part in Adamancipator, which I think is pretty obvious if you look at the end board consisting of ideally 0 Adamancipator cards, right? Like the Adamancipator end board had 0 Adamancipator cards on it, which is, I think that's always an indicator that there's something wrong. But yeah.